recently returned from Guadeloupe after doing a 1 year stint there on a program called the Jules Verne program. The Jules Verne program is actually an international program where the French government recruit teachers from around the world to do intervention in their English program. As you know, the European Union, it is stipulated that every child who fall in the territories, they have to learn at least 2 foreign languages. And for the islands in the Caribbean, the French territories in the Caribbean, they mainly focus on learning English and Spanish and German, I think. But of those 3, you find that English is the most popular. And so last year, they had requested of the Alliance Française for someone who would be willing to come and work there for the year. And I was asked, I agreed, I went. My learning French span over a very, very long period. It actually started in school, and it was nurtured by some trips in St. Martin, French St. Martin, because I had an aunt-in-law there who kept me abreast of with the speaking and so on. And I actually voted for CXC, and then after that, I went on to university. But the French language for me and for a lot of my friends, it was like a real second language because we practiced a lot. Although when we spoke, we made mistakes and so on, we still spoke. And that is the whole idea of learning a language. You talk and you make mistakes, you correct yourself, and eventually you get better and better. Jules Verne, I think, is a renowned author from France, and the program was named after him. Jules Verne. It was named after him. And you find, coincidentally, I was from the Caribbean who went on the program, but there are others from England, Australia, America, all over the world. You have persons on this program. And the French really like it because what they want is to learn from a native speaker. Just like we would want to learn French from a native French speaker, they want to learn English from a native English speaker. I did intervention in several schools. It is mandatory for the primary school kids from as low as what we call CE1, which is like grade 1. And I had classes in at least 3 primary schools, and I also did intervention in the English program in the secondary school, which they call a college, you know. So my days were full, very full. I had to, for example, one morning I may be at one school and I had to hustle to get to another school for the afternoon session and so on, and the days went just like that. Before that, I had connections with Guadeloupe, but to me, it's a very interesting program. I not only taught the English, but of course, there were benefits for me as well, So, of course, I was utilized. I also had to help students who were doing the sixth form exams. They call it the baccalaureate. I also had to help students at that level. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I do a very good job, or used to do a very good job at the teaching of the French. But really, honestly, I have learned a lot more, things that we took for granted, especially with the pronunciation of certain letters, certain consonantal structures, and so on. I think I have a better hang of things there. And I see where I can improve my teaching in the classroom. As good as I thought I was, I think that there's still room for improvement. And I'm looking forward to really putting into practice the little extra that I have gotten because of that year there in Guadeloupe. Knowledge of at least of one foreign language is very, very, very important. We see what is happening today. Our world is like a global village, particularly for trade. We can now trade with anybody. Once you have the knowledge of a foreign language, it broadens your horizon in terms of trade. It makes it easier. It facilitates the whole process, right? We speak of trade, the tourism. I have been to places like Brimstone Hill, and like I'll be there sitting on the bench, and I'm hearing that's a foreign language. That's a foreign language, and I try to decipher which one is it, and it's so interesting, and because of the thrust that we're now making into tourism, I think that the government needs to make it mandatory because knowledge of a foreign language helps the process so much better. And I think that it's time we become aware of the importance of the foreign language. We need it every day. I say to people all the time, I don't care what your intellectual ability is. You can learn a foreign language. Why? Because there are, for example, in the tourism industry, um, someone may find themselves being a maid. You have to make the beds. If, for instance, there's a French speaker who wants you to change the sheet, you can at least know the word for sheet in French. See where I'm coming from? You can at least know the expression for saying, hi, are you enjoying your stay, and so on. Little things like those. It doesn't have to be the great conjugation of verbs and so on, the highfalutin stuff. But even the basic helps. Even the basics give you an advantage over the person who would not know a foreign language. And I want to encourage everybody to learn a foreign language, whether it is French, whether it is Spanish, whether it is Chinese Mandarin, whatever it is, learn something extra. It can, as I said, it gives you the added advantage. When all the CVs come in and they look at you and see you have knowledge of a foreign language, that's a plus. And at my school in particular, I like to relate this because I remember in the year 2005, my vision was to ensure that any student who enter the portals of Sandy Point High School leave knowing at least one foreign language over a 5-year period. And that I am happy for. We were able to do that. We had children for 1A1 to 1A10, wherever the end was, they were learning a foreign language. Sometimes across the lawn you hear, hola, hola, and so on, of students who we thought like they can't even read, but they learned. And that went to show that everybody can learn a foreign language. You can. You just take it at your pace, and that is what we were doing. Between the year 2005 and 2010, it's happened, and I am ready and willing to try that again. The kids learn easier from around 5 and 6 and so on because, they're small, impressionable, and so on. Whatever you give them, they take, and they run with, right? But because of the fact that we don't have very many persons studying the foreign languages, we don't have enough teachers out there to do this. As much as we would want to introduce it at a very early stage, it is going to be very difficult. I don't think we're going to have the manpower to do so, right? So if we begin here by encouraging more persons to take up foreign languages, then that might be a little step forward. It's time we put more emphasis on foreign language learning, whether at the primary level or the secondary level. We have come to that stage in our economic development where we need to emphasize knowledge of a foreign language. If I can say a little bit more, there were many students who go to Cuba, and we are told that they have to spend 1 year learning the language. I don't have any problem with that. But I think that if they had a previous knowledge, it would make their learning there so much easier. Oh my God, I have been teaching so many years, and you won't believe me. Last Friday started my 33rd year.
Wow. Okay.
Right? I have been teaching for a very, very long time. I'm almost to the point of retirement. I'm not yet, at the age, but I started very long because of circumstances, right? But I love what I do. I love language teaching. I really, really love it. I love when my students learn. I love it when they learn. I say to them all the time, I'm teaching you a foreign language. I want you to be brighter than me. I want you to be more intelligent than I am. I say that to them all the time, and it pleases me when I see them out in the schools, the different schools, teaching as well. It makes me feel like I'm making some inroads into what my vision is for the foreign languages. I do all sorts of things. What I do, I feel out my kids. I feel them out and I see who likes what with the learning. I try things and see who likes what. For example, just today, some kids, I said to them, oh, I have to wait on these stragglers who are coming. In the meantime, I'm going to teach you a song in French. Oh, yes, teacher. Oui, oui, madame. And then I know that they would love songs. So I use different strategies. We're moving into technology, so we have websites that we give them there. They can go and learn things and so on. But we have our own, we try songs, we try lots of things because the trick is to bring the language alive and win the student into learning. And that is what I do most of the time. Lots of my kids say I am a dramatic teacher. I know that, I know I really can't keep still, right? But I try to bring the language alive so that when they leave the classroom, they love it. I say all the time I want to have a language school. I really, really want a language school because I want to further emphasize the point that everybody needs to know another language. English is not all. We are fortunate to know English. In Guadeloupe, I realized how difficult English was for the French speakers. But for my language school, I want adults. I want adults to come and learn and see that language learning is not difficult. You just have to apply yourselves and practice, as we say, practice and so on.